Let's talk about Newspoll and what's come out tonight via the Australian newspaper. Let's have a look here. A little bit of a change back towards the middle, but essentially the main game is the same. So at the last election, 41% for the coalition. Now it's at 43%. Labor is below where they were at the last federal election. The Greens are a little bit up. One Nation way up on where they were at the last federal election, and the Greens as well are a little bit down, actually, according to that primary vote. We continue here with other ones that are worth having a look at. Two-party preferred. Overall, your headline is 52-48, a little down from last time, a little up on where things have been, well, basically, since the last election, and even all the way back from April and into May, into June, and literally it was the spike of July that is there, but 52-48. What else have we got here, guys? We've got preferred Prime Minister has increased for the Prime Minister at now 60%. And Anthony Albanese down to his lowest number at 25%. The uncommitted number bounces around. But think about this, right? Go back to where we were the best part of in April. We're about 20% of people, 18% of people were still up for grabs. That's now down to 15%. This matters because I've long argued all of this, right, is that Albanese is going to have a shortened problem here, where he isn't even the preferred candidate of his side of politics. Now, is there a false high because of incumbency, because of COVID? Yep, you bet it, absolutely. But if only 15% of people haven't made up their mind, that's not an awful lot of people that are there still to be won over in the next little while. As for the performances of both of the leaders, you can see there, the satisfaction rating of the Prime Minister, record high at 68%, and the satisfaction level with Albanese is at 41%. His dissatisfaction is down. The uncommitted is there. So we'll take this in no particular order, but James Paterson, what do you read into all of that, knowing, yes, of course, politics is a long way away for a federal election. However, there's a Northern Territory election in the next couple of weeks. There's an ACT election in the next little while, where there's a poll out as well today saying that the Libs are in front of Labor, but with the Greens, unsurprisingly, guess what happens? There's a Queensland election to happen. So the politics of the value of these leaders is going to matter. And if you've got such a disparity between the Prime Minister and the opposition leader, interesting to note about how politics works when you invoke them in different parts of the country. What do you read out of those polls?
Yeah, Paul, I'd be really interested to meet these 25% of Australians who would like Anthony Albanese to be Prime Minister, particularly at this juncture.
I don't think any of us want to meet them, James.
I probably wouldn't want to meet them. I know where they live in Melbourne, not far from me, and they wouldn't be happy to see me, and I wouldn't be happy to see them. Look, I mean, these are very strong numbers for the Prime Minister. There's no other way of putting it, and they're very strong numbers for the Liberal and National parties. But I don't foresee an election any time in the short term, so they won't have a whole lot of bearing on the next government. This government will have to earn its keep, demonstrate it's seeing Australia through a very difficult time, and then justify itself for re-election.
Well, again, what it also tells you too is that what these state campaigns about how much, and Labor has done a very good job of, well, actually they haven't, they've lost a few in a row now, of trying to fight state issues at the federal level and vice versa. James, again, going into Queensland in a few weeks' time, what, if anything, do these numbers mean when you put together those state numbers of 51-48 in favour of the LNP?
Well, what it shows here in Queensland is we've got to remind voters that Labor had the highest unemployment, the lowest business confidence, the highest business failures, all before coronavirus came along. So Palaszczuk has got a very, very weak government that she's leading. ScoMo has been leading a very strong government that's been delivering for people. And people are going to make a decision, not just based on how leaders have dealt with coronavirus, but how they've acted as leader throughout that term of government. And Palaszczuk has been a very poor premier since 2015, and that is going to be held against her when polling day comes.